Disclaimer: this video is an imagination written by author's perspective. It has nothing to do with real life. It's only for entertainment purpose. I own the storyline and narration, so please don't copy and repost my work. Thank you. Mrs. Jeon. She's pregnant with Jeon's grandchild, so we'll take her responsibility. Jungkook will marry her next week, she announced. Everyone's eyes became widened after hearing this. You looked at Jungkook with shocked face, and he's also looking at you with same expressions. You don't want to marry him. Vian, no, I'll not marry him, you said while shouting. Vian, I can't marry a person who give me hard time and bully me. Mrs. Jeon, so are you planning to adopt our grandchild? Vian, I know it's your body and you can take any decision, but once think about that soul who is innocent. Mrs. John said with teary eyes. Vian, no, I'll not adopt my baby, but I just don't want to marry him, you said, and just then your mom come towards you. Mom, but why, Vian? You are pregnant with his baby, so you have to marry him for this baby and society. If you'll not marry him, then how will you show your face to the society? She said, and you looked at her with unbelievable expressions. How can she switch so quickly? Vian, but mom, I didn't do something wrong, so why I'll hide my face? Mom, I know, Vian, you didn't do something wrong, but still you have to stay with him for sake of your baby. Don't be selfish, she said, and she is trying to convince you. She is talking like typical moms, and you are just standing there with teary eyes. Just then Mrs. Sean come towards you and hugged you and tried to comfort you. Mrs. Sean, Vian, don't think about society and peoples. Forget everything and just think about you and your baby. I'm not forcing you for anything. You can take your decision. Mrs. Sean, but I can promise you one thing, that Jungkook will never trouble you after getting married. I want you to come in our family because now you are a part of our family. Mrs. Sean, you are carrying Jeon's blood inside you, so once think about us. I don't want to lose our grandchild, she said with teary eyes. You can see pain in her eyes. She wants her grandchild, that's why she is requesting you. But you are thinking that what will happen to you after getting married to Jungkook. Mom, can we talk to her in private? We'll make her understand, your mom said with fake smile. Mrs. Sean, as you wish. Mrs. Sean said, and your mom grabbed your wrist and take you in another room, and your dad also followed her. Jeon family is waiting outside in the living room. Mom, why are you out of your mind? Why you are saying no to this proposal? Only this marriage can save you and us from the shame, she said angrily. Vian, Mom, how can you change so fast? You said that you are with me, then how you changed? You asked with teary eyes. Mom, I'm with you, that's why I'm saying this. Dad, we thought that he forced himself on you and take your advantage, but here we are hearing another story. Look, Vian, we know that you and Jungkook both are innocent in this case. Dad, but still you both made mistake and now you have only one option to save our name, he said, and you asked him with teary eyes. Vian, what option? Dad, this baby or marry Jungkook, because Vian, this is how you can save our reputation in the society. Vian, what are you saying, Dad? Dad, look, Vian, we are not rich and powerful people like Jeons, so we can't shut everyone's mouth. We have to live in the society with respect, so choose one option. He said with teary eyes. Your mom and dad both started their emotional blackmailing game. Both are crying silently, and your eyes also became teary after looking at them. Mom, Van, please think about us. This decision can make everything right. They said, and you started thinking. You thought that you are already destroyed. If you will not listen to your parents, then they'll always make you suffer. They'll not take responsibility of your baby. So it's better to marry Jungkook because then your baby will get what he deserves. And you are already suffering, so it's better to marry him. At least your child can get a better life here. So you have to be selfless for your baby. So you agreed to marry him. Fine, okay, I'll marry him. But I don't think that I can accept him. Dad, thank you, Vahan, for saying yes. He said and hugged you. After some time, you come outside with your parents. Mom, Vahan is ready for the marriage, but please never give our daughter a hard time. Mrs. John smiled and came towards you and hugged you. Mrs. John, I promise you that we'll treat her like queen and will never give her hard time. She said, Mrs. John, okay, so next week they are getting married. Then after discussing about the marriage, you and your parents left. Time skip in night. Jungkook is sitting in his room and he is looking outside. Mrs. John entered inside his room and sat beside him. Mrs. John, what are you thinking, Jungkook? Jungkook, Mom, you arranged my marriage without asking me. Don't you think that I'm not ready for this big responsibility? He asked with teary eyes. Mrs. John raised his head. Mrs. John, but Jungkook, in few months you are going to be a father, so you have to take this responsibility. Mrs. John, you can't run away from your responsibility. Jungkook, no mom, I'm not trying to run away, but I don't want to marry. Mrs. John eyes became widened. Mrs. John, but why son? Jungkook, Mom, I have seen you. After looking at your married life, I don't believe in marriage anymore. Jungkook, you and dad also got married in very young age, and you also had me in very young age. So you can see what happened. Dad is not with us now. Teary eyes. Jungkook and Mrs. Jeon both started crying. Actually, Jungkook's father cheated on Jungkook's mom, and that's why he became cold. His father kicked them out and they come on streets in just one night. But Jungkook's uncle Jeon helped them in their hard time and helped them to build everything again. Because of his father, now he don't believe in marriage and relationships. He thinks that making commitments in small age is worst, like his parents did, and then his mom suffered. Jungkook, Mom, what if I also became like that and hurt my family? I guess marriage is not a game, so how can I marry her without love? He said, and Mrs. Jeon can understand. Mrs. Jeon, I believe in you, my son, that you'll not repeat those things with your family. I trust you because you are my son. Jungkook, but still, I have his blood inside me. Mrs. Jeon, look, Jungkook, if you'll not marry her, then you'll called a loser who can't even take care of his family. She's carrying your child, so it's your responsibility to bring her in your life. Mrs. Jeon, she's sacrificing everything for this baby, so you have to be with her, marry her, and be her strength, and run your family like a man. I believe in you. Mrs. Jeon sat with a smile and Jungkook nodded with teary eyes. Mrs. Jeon, now sleep and don't think about this, okay? Jungkook, okay mom, good night. Jungkook sat and Mrs. Jeon smiled and then she left from there after saying good night to him. But Jungkook didn't sleep and he's still thinking about this. Jungkook, I'll say no in front of priest for this marriage. To be continued. Thanks for watching.